Okay, good evening, everyone. Welcome to our board meeting. Could we all rise for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Megan, will you call the roll?
Yes. Oh my gosh. Trustee Lautner?
Here.
Trustee Zora?
Here.
Trustee Council?
Here.
Trustee Sheehan?
Here.
Trustee Caputo?
Here.
Trustee Diaferio?
Here.
President DeCipio?
Here.
A quorum is present, Mr. President.
Thank you, Megan. We'll move on to public. Seeing none, we'll move on to consent agenda. Megan?
I think Trustee Council had something about the minutes.
Thank you. Thank you, Megan. I would like to, thanks, Mike. I would like to remove the village board meeting of December 9 minutes from the consent agenda and to have some revisions made to them at the, under new business. So aside from November 25, January 13, and the closed session minutes, I would like to defer village board meeting December 9 to further in the meeting.
You'll need to unlock your iPad first.
Okay.
There's nothing called board meeting schedule.
Okay, so Trustee Council is requesting that we remove December 9th village board meeting off the consent agenda and move it to new business?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, Megan.
All right, thank you, Mr. President. The items on this evening's consent agenda are as follows. A, approval of minutes. 1, village board meeting, November 25th, 2025. 2, village board work session, January 13th, 2026. And 3, village board closed session, January 13th, 2026. B, action, accounts payable and payroll summary, motion 1, to authorize the president and chairperson of the finance committee to sign the register for bills and authorize the treasurer and village clerk to sign checks and payment of operating bills and salaries as itemized in the check registers, and motion 2, to authorize the village treasurer and village clerk to sign checks in the payment of payroll and other bills that become due between this date and the next village board meeting, with subsequent approval of the payroll register and voucher register by the Board of Trustees at its next meeting.
So we have a motion to approve with the removal of the village board meeting December 9th and put it on new agenda.
So moved.
Megan, call
Second.
the roll.
Trustee Lautner?
Yes.
Trustee Zora?
Yes.
Council?
Yes.
Trustee Sheehan?
Yes.
Trustee Caputo?
Yes.
Trustee Diaferio?
Yes.
The motion passes unanimously, Mr. President.
Thank you, Megan.
Yep.
Okay, moving on, village manager's report, Julia.
Thank you, Mr. President and members of the board. I have just one item to report on this evening, and that is a reminder about tomorrow night's road bond referendum town hall meeting. It will take place right here in this room, the boardroom at Village Hall, and it will start at 6 p.m. And we welcome all residents to attend to hear the educational session and ask their questions. And with that, that concludes my report. Thank you.
Thank you, Julia. Okay, moving on, administration committee, trustee council.
Thank you, President DeCipio. My report is as follows. 2026 road bond referendum, investing in Grange Park's future. The Village of Grange Park is hosting a town hall meeting on Wednesday, January 28 at 6 o'clock p.m. at Village Hall to share information about the 2026 road bond referendum, which will appear on the March 17, 2026 general primary election ballot. The referendum seeks voter approval to issue $10 million in bonds to continue funding the village's road improvement program over the next decade, without increasing the village portion of property taxes. The new bonds would replace the 2016 road and fire equipment bonds, ensuring ongoing investment in street resurfacing, drainage improvements, and other critical infrastructure. Visit lagrangepark.org to learn more about the referendum. Arbor Day nominations. National Arbor Day is Friday, April 24. To mark the occasion, the Village of LaGrange Park is accepting nominations to plant a commemorative tree in honor or memory of someone who has made a meaningful contribution to the community. Nominations are open through Friday, February 6th. A tree and a small plaque will be installed in a public space and recognized during a community ceremony later this year. Nomination forms are available on the village's website or contact Sandy Bakelich for more information. The village offices will be closed on Monday, February 16 in observance of President's Day. Regular office hours will resume on Tuesday, February 17 at 9 a.m. And this concludes my report. Thank you.
Thank you, Trustee Council. Moving on to Building and Zoning Committee, Trustee Zora.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'd like to report the building department activities for December 2025. 39 building permits were issued in December 2025 compared to 26 issued in December 2024. Year to date in 2025, the building department issued 789 permits, which is slightly more than the 722 issued the previous year. Estimated construction cost for December was just over $600,000, which is more than the $503,189 that was realized in December 2024. Permit fees collected in December equaled $14,287, which was more than the $10,120 of permit fees collected in December 2024. 90 building inspections were conducted in December compared to 114 in December 2024. All 90 conducted inspections were approved. Year to date, the department has conducted 1,751 building inspections, which is slightly less than the 1,793 building inspections completed in December 2024. All 4 of the new code enforcement cases were recorded in December, and all 4 have been closed out. And then I have one item for discussion and action. Plymouth Place is the applicant. They're requesting approval of a PUD, a planned unit development amendment for the approximately 19-acre property at 315 North LaGrange Road in LaGrange Park, Illinois, which is the property, which is zoned R4 multifamily residential and developed with a continuing care retirement campus. The subject property includes an 8-story primary facility approved as part of the PUD in 2005, containing independent living, assisted living, memory support, and skilled nursing units, as well as a collection of single-family cottages constructed in the 1950s in the east of the main building. Over time, the site has been redeveloped through subsequent PUD approvals, including a 2017 amendment that allowed partial demolition of the cottages for employee parking and a new PUD approval in 2022 that authorized demolition of the remaining cottages and construction of the Arboretum Villas, consisting of 94 independent living apartments in multiple new buildings, along with new amenity spaces such as the Center for Healthy Living, construction of the Center for Healthy Living, and the first phase of the Arboretum Villas that has been completed, and the current application for the PUD amendment. They are seeking relief under the LaGrange Park zoning code to allow additional on-site signage to support building identification and campus wayfinding. The Planning and Zoning Commission held a public hearing regarding the application for a PUD amendment on December 16, 2025. The applicant attended the public hearing, provided testimony. The minutes from the public hearing, the court reporter transcript, and the approving findings of fact are in our packets. Upon conclusion of the public hearing, the Planning and Zoning Commission recommended approval of the PUD amendment by a vote of 5-0. Staff concurs with the recommendation of the Planning and Zoning Commission. I'd like to make a motion to approve an ordinance granting approval of additional exceptions to the planned unit development for the property located at 315 North LaGrange Road, Plymouth Place, Inc., case number 25-0025.
Second.
Motion is second. Discussion. Trustee Zora.
Thank you. I did not attend the meeting, but I did read the transcripts. And I have been on the site and I have talked to residents about the wayfinding issues and with deliveries coming in and people not knowing where to go. And one thing I wanted to note was the signage approval was not part of the initial PUD approval, and that's why it's coming back to us. But definitely they need the wayfinding. It has been installed, but it's a necessity, and I think it was just something that was missed along the way. Based on what they submitted, the signage fits the character of the site and helps guide the residents, guests, and most importantly, the emergency vehicles. So I do agree with the recommendation. I think we should approve this.
Thank you, Trustee Zora. Any other comments from the board? Seeing none, Megan, call the roll.
Trustee Lauder?
Yes.
Trustee Zora?
Yes.
Trustee Council?
Yes.
Trustee Sheehan?
Yes.
Trustee Caputo?
Yes.
Trustee Diaferio?
Yes.
The motion passes unanimously, Mr. President.
Thank you, Megan, and thank you, trustee Zora.
Thank you. That's all I have.
Okay, moving on, building, I'm sorry, that was just building and zoning. Engineering capital projects, trustee DiFario.
Thank you, Mr. President. Here's the engineering and capital project summary report for December of 2025. 2026 Park Road improvements. Plans are being revised to incorporate the relocation of the Park Junior High entrances associated with the school district's proposed improvements slated for 2026. The project will be bid March of 2026 with an award of contract anticipated in April of 2026, which will allow for work to proceed once school is finished in the spring and be completed in time for the school start in fall of 2026. Central Area's sewer separation project. Final plans and bid documents are being completed to allow for the project to be advertised in February of 2026 and be awarded in March of 2026. The work will begin in May of 2026 and be completed by September of 2027. And that completes our engineering and capital projects report for December.
Thank you, trustee DiFario. Moving on, Public Safety Committee, trustee Caputo.
Yes, thank you, President Scipio. First of all, we have the police department summary activity through December 2025. Total number of crimes reported in 2025 are approximately 23% lower to those reported in 2024, with 196 reported in 2025 compared to 249 in 2024. Overall police activity for 2025 ended the year at 12,807 total incidents, which is significantly higher than the 12,303 reported in 2024. Self-initiated officer activity, including building, park, business, and residential checks, is a contributor to the total incidents. Traffic enforcement and citations ended the year at 3,870, which includes parking compliance, local ordinance, and state-issued citations. The police department welcomed Officer Christopher Moda to the department. Officer Moda attended the Cook County Sheriff's Police Academy, graduating in December, and is currently in the field training program. All police department staff took part in the CPR and AED training in December. Thanks to the fire department for putting on the training. Police department staff took part in 5,986.5 hours of training, either in person or online. Several members of the department became recertified as instructors on specialty topics throughout the Illinois Law Enforcement Training and Standards Board. This total does include police activity training and field training hours for the new officers. The number of contacts that the police department has had with juvenile offenders in 2025 remains stagnant. The Grange Park Police Department will continue to utilize a multitude of programs throughout the year to assist with juvenile matters. Some of these programs consist of youth outreach services, the Child Advocacy Center, and Presence Healthcare Social Services Division, to name a few. The LaGrange Police Department continues to contract a part-time police social worker through Presence Health to assist us in following up with the incidents that involve domestic issues, elder care, juvenile runaways, and mental health issues. And many special event and community-based programs will continue in 2026. National Night Out, Custer with a Cop, attending at block parties and school events, and Illinois Special Olympics fundraising events, along with many programs, are eagerly waiting to get going. In 2025, the police department saw some personnel changes within the department. Fran Morocco was appointed to the rank of deputy chief. Tim Griffin was appointed to the rank of patrol commander, and Jennifer Wilk was promoted to the rank of patrol sergeant. A friendly reminder about securing one's personal property at all times. Please lock your vehicles and residence, especially during overnight hours. Keep valuables properly secured and out of sight at all times. In addition, please be aware of any scheduled package deliveries. If feasible, please request an in-person delivery, which requires signature upon the dropping off said package. And please contact us if you have any questions or need any additional information. The next report is going to be the fire report. Excuse me. One second. I'm sorry, hold on one second.
They can wait.
Technical.
Do you want? No, it's fine.
So, Sorry.
Joe, you're here.
Sorry. Thank you. Okay, the fire activity for December 2025, EMS incidents this month were 200. There have been 1,933 year-to-date compared to 1,945 year-to-date in 2024. Fire rescue incidents this month were 81. There have been 807 year-to-date compared to 702 year-to-date in 2024. The department responded to a record number of incidents this past calendar year, over 2,700. We will work more closely evaluate the details and reasons for the increase, but we obviously thank our personnel for their dedication. Work was scheduled to replace the fire station number 2 roof, but it had to be delayed due to weather. Personnel attended and delivered Santa to the village's holiday tree lighting event. Background investigations and medical evaluation were completed for new fire department candidates. An orientation meeting was also held for those being hired. In conjunction with monthly training, the fire department held our annual holiday dinner. Retirees attended and were able to pin their retirement badges on new retired and honored member display board. On duty PM and firefighters and the fire chief provided educational presentation to residents at Bethlehem Woods. Fire and fall prevention, wellness, and EMS operations were discussed. The Santa Parade and Food Drive was held during the month on a day with extremely cold temperatures. Thanks to everyone who helped out in some way with this event, and especially those who braved the cold to help collect the food, and also especially those who had donated. The chief and deputy participated in the school district 95th annual crisis planning meeting. Our breakfast with Santa took place for the fire department families, which is sponsored by the Fire Department Foundation. The Fire Department Foundation held its annual corporation meeting and conducted their annual audit. Staff have been working for months with other LTACC departments and our vendor Image Trend, including over the recent holidays, to implement our new fire records management software. It has to go live on January 1st, which it did, in order to meet requirements of the new NERIS, which is the National Emergency Response Information System. Deputy Commander Seneca and Administrative Assistant Kelly Rafferty did the majority of the implementation work on our end, and the additional training of overall staff will be continuing. There is one incident to report on December 3rd at 5:10 p.m. Engine 1211 and Chief 1201 responded to assist Brookfield with a house fire on Arden Avenue. I do have one more item on the agenda. Okay. This is regarding the building agreement and business associate addendum, HIPPAA. The village uses a third-party billing company to collect fees related to ambulance services. These services at times can be considered somewhat complex based upon the various regulatory regulations that apply and the need for services to integrate with individual EMS patient care reports. The village needs to enter into a new agreement for these billing services at this time. The general background is that the EMS Management and Consultants Incorporated has been providing EMS billing services since acquiring Andres Medical Billing in 2022, who was our former provider. We have been overall satisfied with EMS MC, and as part of the acquisition, our account manager, who has spent 6 years with Andres, also moved over to EMS MC. Although we have completed quite a few documents related to the acquisition in order to provide the transition, a new contract was not negotiated at the time. As such, we were provided with a proposed new service agreement. It was reviewed by us, including our financial director and village attorney, with various suggested modifications made. EMS MC has agreed to the changes, and the final document is attached for review. Of particular note is that our service fee has dropped from 4.75% to 4.5%, and the agreement runs through January 31st of 2027, allowing for automatic and successive annual renewals. The staff recommendation is entering into a building services agreement and business associate addendum, HIPPA, with EMS MC. And this item is up for discussion and action. And the motion is to approve a resolution approving and authorizing the execution of building service agreement and business associate addendum with EMS Management and Consultants Incorporated of Winston-Salem, North Carolina, for the provision of emergency medical services, billing, and collection services.
Second.
A motion and a second. Discussion. Trustee Caputo?
Yes, thank you, President DeCipio. Well, I feel that we've had this going on for a while. I think it's great that we do have a third party that's helping us out with billing, that frees us up with our other tasks and duties that we have, especially since we are more on a skeleton crew with our staff. And if the village attorney and the finance director feel that, you know, the changes that we made are sufficient and were approved by EMS MC, I'm definitely in favor of this. I don't know if either Attorney Drusik or Larry are willing to share anything that we need to know about this. Other than that, I'm approving of this.
Larry, anything you want to add? Okay. Chief, anything? Okay. Any other comments from the board? Trustee Laudner?
Thank you, Mr. President. I don't want to assume, just to clarify, there's no changes in our procedures of how we charge, whom we charge, and how we handle residents. All that stays the same. No changes in terms and conditions with the agreement, and what's collected with insurance, what's not collected, et cetera. So all that's exactly the same. This is just the company that does the processing of the billing. Okay, at least at this time. I know there's federal acts under discussion to maybe change that, the No Surprises Act, but okay, thank you.
Any other comments?
No, thank you, President.
I just would like to thank Larry and Chief Dean, Attorney Drusik, and the Village of Western Springs for all their input and helping out. Okay, Megan, call the roll.
Trustee Lautner?
Yes.
Trustee Zara?
Yes.
Council?
Yes.
Trustee Sheehan?
Yes.
Trustee Caputo?
Yes.
Trustee Diafario?
Yes.
The motion passes unanimously, Mr. President.
Thank you, Megan, and we'll move on, and thank you so much, Trustee Caputo.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Public Works Committee, Trustee Sheehan.
Thank you, Mr. President. For December, Public Works repaired 6 water main breaks and repaired 1 leaking copper service line. Leaf collection program continued into December, but with delay due to last month's record snowfall. Operations will continue into January until all sections have been completed, which they have been. Snow operations continued into December with a total of 8 events DPW responded to. Staff used 196 tons of salt and treated 1,334 miles of village roadways. Staff assisted with operations for the village tree lighting ceremony. Public Works participated in the annual Santa Parade and food drive with 2 decorated vehicles. Staff met with Titan Risk Consultants to schedule OSHA trainings for the upcoming year. The annual pavement patching program was postponed until early 26 due to weather conditions and asphalt plants already shutting down earlier than expected. GIS work has continued collecting data on village-owned assets along with continued training throughout the village. All water meters were read. 15 monthly bacterial water samples were taken. Various water and sewer work orders were completed along with resident tree concerns and general construction inquiries. Routine maintenance of the department's fleet and equipment was completed, as well as with police and fire vehicles. 2 action items tonight. First one, Landscape Material and Firewood Sales, Inc., change order number 1 to contract with leaf disposal. The purpose, staff seeks the village board's approval of the first change order in a not to exceed amount of $9,000 to cover the cost of additional leaf disposal. General background, on November 11, 2025, the village board approved a contract with Landscape Material and Firewood Sales, Inc. for a not to exceed amount of $36,000 to haul leaves collected during the leaf program. The contract fee was based on the number of truckloads. However, due to heavy snow after Thanksgiving and additional snowfall and freezing temperatures, the volume of leaves our contractor can haul per truckload had decreased significantly because the leaves are much heavier. Usually the contractor can fit about 10 buckets of leaves per truckload to keep the weight under the legal limit, but now they can only transport around 5 buckets of leaves per truckload. Public Works expects about 6 more truckloads to be hauled before we complete this year's program, but the proposed change order will account for a total of 10 truckloads beyond the contract amount. The dollar amount of change order number 1 is $9,000, which is less than the $10,000 threshold requiring approval of the change order via Ordinance 720 ILCS 533E-9 Criminal Code Change Order Statute. Based on the 2025 contract award of $36,000, the village board is able to make the following finding and determination pursuant to Section 5 of the Public Works Contract Change Order Act, 50 ILCS 525-5. The amount of change order number 1 or series of change orders does not increase the original contract price by 50% or more, and thus the village is not obligated to rebid the additional work proposed under change order 1. Staff recommends the board approve change order 1 with Landscape Material and Firewood Sales, Inc. for an increase not to exceed $9,000. Therefore, Mr. President, pre-motion finding and determination by the village board pursuant to Section 5 of the Public Works Contract Change Order Act, 50 ILCS 525/5. The amount of the change order number 1 does not increase the original contract price by 50% or more, and thus the village is not obligated to rebid the additional work proposed under the change order number 1. Therefore, make a motion to approve change order number 1 with Landscape Material and Firewood Sales, Inc. for additional leaf disposal work for a total increase in cost not to exceed $9,000, which increases the original awarded contract price of $36,000 to $45,000.
Second.
Motion and second, discussion, trustee Sheehan?
Thank you, Mr. President. Yeah, I mean, it makes total sense. I mean, the leaves and the amount of snow, that's what weighed the trucks down, and you have to keep, you know, under Federal Department of Transportation rules, you have to keep under a certain weight, so we don't want to get anybody in trouble. I just want to commend the director and the crews for all the hard work they did. I mean, they threw, you know, curveball after curveball at you guys, and it didn't go unnoticed, all the hard work that everybody did, both union and yourself, Director Raddy, giving up a Sunday night and a Monday night above and beyond your regular daytime duties to be out there. So it took a while, but in the end, the juice was worth the squeeze. It looks nice, and now we have more snow and ice. So nice job. I support this, and it's just one of those fluke things, Mother Nature.
Thank you, trustee Sheehan. Any other comments? Trustee Lautner?
Certainly, I'm going to second that motion, but I want to second trustee Sheehan's comments, the yeoman's efforts on behalf of everyone in the Public Works. It was certainly a lot of extra effort changing equipment, but thank you for all the efforts. I know we say that collectively a lot, but you know, we can't say it enough. Thank you.
Thank you, trustee Lautner. Any other comments? Just ditto to what trustee Lautner and trustee Sheehan said. Rick, your crew is amazing, and even today in the cold weather out there that they've been experiencing all through the week, they're out there doing their job. God bless. So thank you, and tell them thank you on behalf of the board. Okay, Megan, call the roll.
Trustee Lautner?
Yes.
Trustee Zara?
Yes.
Trustee Council?
Yes.
Trustee Sheehan?
Yes.
Trustee Caputo?
Yes.
Trustee Diaferio?
Yes.
The motion passes unanimously, Mr. President.
Okay. Lastly, we'll do the resolution and design engineering services agreement for the Scottdale head wall replacement project. The purpose is to approve a professional services agreement for design engineering with Hancock Engineering for the Scottdale head wall replacement project. A general background, Public Works needs to take steps to reconstruct the head wall for the Scottdale storms. The Scottdale storm sewer outfall pipe has come apart, creating a sizable gap between pipe segments and causing erosion of the stream bank at this spot. Public Works has placed a temporary street sign to cover the large gap since the area is heavily frequented by mountain bikers. Originally, $14,000 was budgeted for this project, but due to the additional permits required from various agencies, the cost to design the project is much greater than anticipated. In July 2025, the village board approved several sewer-related engineering agreements with Hancock for various projects, and they are currently under budget by $25,500. With the original budget of $14,000 for this project and the under budget amount of $25,500, there are funds within the sewer budget to offset the engineering design costs associated with this project. Staff recommendation, village staff recommends that the village board approve the professional services agreement for design engineering with Hancock Engineering for the Scottdale head wall replacement project. Therefore, Mr. President, make a motion at this time to approve a resolution authorizing the approval and execution of an engineering services agreement to be entered into between the Village of LaGrange Park and Edward Hancock Engineering Company for the performance of design engineering services relative to the Scottdale head wall replacement project and approving the expenditure of sewer funds to pay for the services not to exceed engineer's fee of $38,000.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Discussion, trustee Sheehan.
Thank you, Mr. President. Yeah, first off, I know Hancock's up to the challenge on this difficult project. They've served us well in the past, and I'm sure they will do that on this project and many others in the future. With that being said, on short notice, I appreciate Director Ratty granting my request for an on-site visit yesterday to take time out of his busy schedule to actually meet me out there to see what we were talking about, because I had no idea what this was or where it was even at. But I appreciate the time, and I appreciate the in-depth explanation you gave me. Two things I walked away with that I was impressed most was in talking with you was the government agency cooperation. You just went down a list of entities that have to be involved with this for us to get the project to completion, and your attention to detail over there, that was impressive. With that being said, you know, we have an aging infrastructure in town. Everybody knows that. This is a stormwater outflow for the north section of part of town over there. So I definitely support this. And Director Ratty, again, thank you for your time.
Any other comments from the board? Megan, call the roll.
Trustee Lautner?
Yes.
Trustee Zora?
Yes.
Trustee Council?
Yes.
Trustee Sheehan?
Yes.
Trustee Caputo?
Yes.
Trustee Diafario?
Yes.
The motion passes unanimously, Mr. President.
Thank you, Megan.
That concludes Public Works.
Thank you, trustee Sheehan. Okay, moving on to Finance Committee, trustee Lautner.
Thank you, Mr. President. For the finance area this evening, I have the fiscal report through December of 2025. This is 67% of the fiscal year 2026, which ends April 30th of 2026. Fiscal year to date, general fund revenue of $5,767,707 is at 47.3% of the annual budget, and $1,550,559, which is 21.2% lower than last year. The decrease is primarily due to the delay with Cook County issuing the property tax bills. Property tax receipts of $555,238 are $1,565,734, or 73.8% lower than last year. Cook County did not issue the second installment property tax bills until November 14th with a due date of December 15th, as opposed to prior years when the bills were issued in July and due in August. Distribution of collections have been further delayed due to ongoing technology issues at the county. The village received initial distributions in late December with additional distributions in mid-January. Other local taxes are at $744,935, or 3.7% greater than last year. Intergovernmental receipts of $2.8 million are up 1.8% from last year. Sales tax and income tax continue to trend higher, while use tax and personal property replacement tax are lower than last year. The state use tax decline was anticipated due to sales tax legislation, which moved taxes on some out-of-state and online purchases from the use tax to the state and local sales taxes. However, the decline is significantly more than expected. Combined sales and use tax receipts are trending lower than the prior year. Licenses and registration fees of $268,278 are $2,260, or 0.8% greater than last year. Permit receipts of $270,113 are $47.44 or 1.7% less than the prior year. Permit revenue is at 38.4% of budget and is expected to end under budget for the fiscal year due to the timing of planned projects moving permit revenue into next year. Charges for services of $758,719 are $83,825 or 12.5% higher than last year due to the timing of water tower lease payments and an increase in ambulance service receipts. Fine revenue of $98,874 is $4,069 or 4.3% greater than last year. Miscellaneous revenues of $246,111 is at $146,108 are 37.3% less than last year, and that's due primarily to the lower interest revenue. Interest rates have declined over the past year following rate cuts by the Federal Reserve. Additionally, general fund cash reserves are lower due to the delay in property tax bills and the transfer to the sewer fund in the prior fiscal year to support the Central Area Sewer Separation Project. Total general fund expenditures of $6,930,156 are at 57% of the annual budget and $85,475 or 1.2% greater than last year. All departments are within budget expectations. The police department is below budget year to date, and that's due to delay in village police pension contribution, which occurs as property taxes are received. And that concludes my financial report through the end of December 2025 and the report from the finance area this evening, Mr. President.
Thank you, Trustee Lautner. Okay, other reports. Village Clerk?
Thank you, Mr. President. I have no report this evening.
Village Treasurer?
No report tonight, Mr. President.
Village Engineer? Our Village Attorney?
No report tonight, President.
And our Commercial Revitalization Committee, Trustee Zorro.
Thank you. I have a few items to report. The Gardner School development work has begun this month on the future site of the Gardner School at 545 Sherwood Road, starting with the demolition of the former Fifth Third Bank building located at the northwest outlet of the Jewel Asco. Construction of this planned early childhood education and daycare facility is anticipated to begin by spring of this year. Residents are encouraged to follow the village's Facebook page and subscribe to the weekly e-briefs newsletter for updates as the development takes shape. The 31st Street Corridor Transportation Plan. Work continues on the 31st Street Corridor Transportation Plan to enhance safety, accessibility, and the overall corridor experience along 31st Street in Barnesdale. Following the October 15th public open house, staff and the consultants reviewed community input and technical data and are developing high-level vision concepts focused on safer crossings, improved pedestrian and bicycle accommodations, and streetscape enhancements. Refined concepts will be presented at the Commercial Revitalization Committee on February 10th. Facade and Property Revitalization Program. The village is accepting applications for the Facade and Property Revitalization Program, which assists property and business owners who aim to enhance the external appearance of their properties. In order to be eligible, a building must be used for commercial purposes and must be located within one of the village's TIF and or business districts. Visit the village's website for more information. The Commercial Revitalization Committee meetings will take place on Tuesday, February 10th at Village Hall. Upcoming topics include the 31st Street Corridor Transportation Plan, as well as upcoming streetscape projects around the Village Market Shopping Center. Businesses and members of the public are invited to attend and provide input on how the village can best support new and existing businesses and enhance the commercial areas in the Grange Park. Thank you.
Thank you, Trustee Zora. Motion to approve committee and collectors reports as presented.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, I just have a couple of items. First, I'd like to remind everyone about the meeting tomorrow night at 6 o'clock here in the boardroom about the referendum. I've seen the program, and staff has put together a tremendous informational program, and I encourage everyone to come out and hear it. I'd like to thank Patrick again from the Chamber for coming out to our meeting and being here and representing us and bringing it back to the Chamber. Hank, thank you again. I didn't get a chance to tell you at Christmas time because you weren't here, but you were busy with LaGrange, I know, so we're okay. But thank you for all that you do, Hank, and LTTV for continual programs that they present and get our board meeting out there to the public. Any public participation of non-agenda related items? Rob? Mr. Council? Just said Trustee Council, see?
Have two items to address. Regarding the recent Christmas tree lighting event,
took down the lights. Thank you. In addition, the businesses that are part of the Chamber of Commerce also participated by purchasing all the smaller trees that decorated the walkway, and there's around 16 of them, the most ever that was sponsored. They bought the trees, decorated them, and everything else, and so everybody made this truly a community event. In my opinion, and if thanks are given, all parties involved should be acknowledged. And speaking of the Park District, 2025 was a pretty active year for our Community Park District. To highlight some of their accomplishments, they purchased a village church to retain it as one of the last remaining green spaces for the village. They started a full renovation improvement at Yana Park. They started proceeding with plans for major upgrades and improvements for the recreation center in Barnesdale, installed new playground equipment at Robin Hood Park, have plans to resurface the tennis courts at Robin Hood and Stone Monroe Parks, and they took over the management and staffing of the former YMCA Fitness Center to keep it in town for all our village residents. In my opinion, they have undertaken more recreation and facility improvements for our residents in this past year than I can remember in the last 20 to 30 years. And the other item I'd like to address is at the December 9th meeting, I was very happy to hear that when the staff and trustees visit our representatives in Springfield, one of the topics of discussion mentioned by our village manager is the restoration of the funding for the Local Government Distribution Fund, or LGDF. The LGDF was created in 1969 when Illinois created the income tax. 10% of all income tax revenue was promised to local governments. However, over time, the state repeatedly reduced the local share to balance its own budget. Even when the state raised income taxes twice, the state kept 100% of the increases. So I was interested in seeing what the effect of the loss of funding has meant to our village. And coincidentally, there is a story from the Illinois Policy Institute that calculated how much Illinois municipalities have lost since the state cut funding from 10% to 7%. While 3% doesn't sound like a lot, it is. In the 2012 to 2024 timeframe cited, municipalities lost $9.49 billion. Specifically for LaGrange Park, the tax revenue we lost amounted to $11.5 million. Simply dividing this by 12-year timeframe provided, it amounts to an average yearly loss to the village of $960,000 per year. It's $960,000 per year, just shy of $1 million every year. I'm sure that this money, our tax dollars, could be put to good use for the benefit of our village by helping to fund police and fire services, public works, infrastructure maintenance, and general operations. I'll probably have more to say at another meeting, but for now I have handouts regarding these numbers for all the staff to take home and take a hard look at, especially when you will be entering the time frame to come up with our 26-27 village budget and see how this loss of funds affects our village. So I gave Maggie handouts earlier for anybody at the table here, and I have handouts for the village board trustees, so if I can hand it to Trustee Caputo, and if you can just pass it down the line, I'd appreciate it. There's 10, one for everybody. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Council, and my apologies if the chamber and the Park District were slighted. Not my intent, and certainly not intended. As far as the LGDF goes, it's been on everybody's forecast. The legislators, everybody were hitting it hard. I appreciate the comments, Mr. Council, and the additional information. It's constantly being pounded down there. I think some of the attention is being diverted a little bit from the LGDF. Hopefully we'll get them back on track and looking at it again. But thank you, Mr. Council, for all your efforts. Anybody else want to make any comments to the board? Seeing none. New business. We have a December 9th minutes to review. Trustee Council.
Thank you, President DeCipio. The December 9 minutes, I would like to reflect a comment that beyond the my expressed concerns regarding the recommendation for the budget for the 60526 zip code day. Not only was I commenting on the cost of the overall event, I would also like to insert into the minutes that I was questioning whether the village obtained permission from the community park district for the use of their space for the Grange Park event, considering that this was a prime time of the year for the park district to be hosting its various programs. So I would like that noted in the minutes before the comments that Trustee Zora made, that she inquired about the time of obtaining sponsorships. I would like those comments that I made inserted somewhere in the body of the minutes. Thank you.
Duly noted, Trustee Council.
Thank you.
Any other new business? Motion to move into executive session?
Submit a motion to adjourn into closed session for the purpose of discussing the appointment, employment, compensation, discipline, performance, or dismissal of specific employees of the public body in accordance with 5 ILCS 120/2C1, not to reconvene to open session until the next regularly scheduled meeting on February 10th, 2026 in the Village Hall Boardroom.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second. Megan, call the roll.
Trustee Lautner?
Yes.
Trustee Zora?
Yes.
Trustee Council?
Yes.
Trustee Sheehan?
Yes.
Trustee Caputo?
Yes.
Trustee Diafario?
Yes.
The motion passes unanimously, Mr. President.
Thank you, Megan. We'll move into executive session, and everyone have a great week. Thank you.
Stay warm.